The most ancient rule in the cosmos was a warning, and the Galactic Collective was about to break it. The central chamber of the Galactic Collective was a marvel of engineering, a hollowed-out asteroid large enough to hold a small moon. Delegates from 1,000 star systems floated in their designated sectors, the air buzzing with the silent, instantaneous work of neural translators. Today, the entire assembly was convened for a single, pressing issue: humanity. Ambassador Xylos of Cthar Imperium rose, his chitinous plates clicking softly. The Cthar were a foundational species, their empire predating many of the others present. When they spoke, the galaxy listened. Assembled delegates, his voice rasped, transmitted directly into every mind. We face a contagion of progress we can no longer contain. The humans. A ripple of unease moved through the chamber. 5 decades ago, we admitted Earth into our fold. We anticipated another grateful, docile race, content to follow the established order. We were mistaken. The vast holographic sphere behind him illuminated with data. Human generation ships charting new courses, orbital habitats under construction, economic pacts with fledgling systems. In a mere 50 years, they have established presences in 15 stellar clusters. Their growth rate is biologically unprecedented. Their technological evolution defies our predictive models. His mental tone sharpened, and their emissary, Ambassador Eva Rostova, has been alarmingly effective at winning over the lesser factions. In the human delegation sector, Ambassador Eva Rostova sat with placid demeanor, a woman in her prime with sharp, intelligent eyes. She wore the unadorned gray of Earth's diplomatic service. Her small team seemed tense under the Cthara's scrutiny. Humanity upends the stability we have cultivated for eons, Xylos projected. They challenge our economic principles. They extend more favorable terms to systems under our stewardship. They disseminate concepts of individual sovereignty and self-determination. This ends now. From the oldest sector, a consciousness brushed against every mind in the room. Elder Seer Ilya of the Luminari, a being of coalesced light and thought, pulsed with age. The Luminari were the first to travel the void. You speak of upheaval, young Cthar, but do you recall the foundation of our laws? Do you remember the Prohibition? The Prohibition is a relic. Xylos retorted mentally, a wave of dismissive static. A myth from a more fearful age. Is it? Ilya's thought was gentle but pervasive. The Prohibition was forged in the aftermath of the Great Scouring 10 millennia past. Does anyone remember the fate of the Jean? The chamber grew still. Older species dimmed their auras. Younger ones broadcast confusion. The Jean were proud, much like your kind, Xylos. They were mighty, dominating their galactic quarter. Then they encountered another race, a species that appeared fragile, sentimental, a species that cherished its young above all else. Ilya's luminous form intensified. The Jean believed they could subjugate the species by targeting what they loved most. They struck at the children. What was the outcome? Queried a naive delegate from a recently contacted world. The progenitors scorched the void, Ilya stated simply. They did not merely defeat the Jean. They expunged them. Every world, every record, every memory was purged. The survivors instituted the Prohibition to ensure it would never be repeated. And what is this Prohibition? Eva Rostova asked, her first direct thought to the assembly. Ilya focused his awareness on her. Never bring harm to the offspring of any race that can navigate the interstellar gulfs, for their forebears will turn the galaxy to cinders in retaliation. Xylos emitted a grating psychic laugh. More superstition. Humans are not the ancients. They are pacifistic. They value harmony over dominance. They can be managed. The ancients. Ilya pulsed softly. Yes, that was their name. I had nearly forgotten. They, too, seemed pacifistic until their young were threatened. But Xylos was no longer receiving. He had turned his full attention back to the collective. I propose a direct action. A human civilian convoy, the Odyssey fleet, is en route to the Cygnus 298 system. These vessels carry family units, children. We intercept them. We demonstrate our resolve. When the humans comprehend our seriousness, they will accept constraints on their proliferation. You cannot be suggesting this. Eva Rostova stood, her mental voice laced with cold fury. You are speaking of endangering innocent families, children. I am speaking of preventing a greater conflict. Xylo shot back. It is wiser to act now, while we retain the advantage, than to wait until humanity becomes an unstoppable force. The deliberations stretched for cycles. Species aligned with the Cthar. Others, particularly those who had benefited from human trade, vehemently opposed. Elder Ilya repeatedly attempted to counsel caution, but his warnings were ignored by the proud and forgotten by the young. The vote was called. The result shimmered in the air, 821 in favor of the Cthar motion, 179 against. It passed. The decision is ratified, announced the assembly moderator. The Cthar Imperium is authorized to intercept the human Odyssey fleet at Cygnus 298. Earth will be compelled to accept limits. Refusal will be met with appropriate measures. Eva Rostova stood once more, her psychic presence vibrating with controlled rage. You have no conception of what you are initiating. Humanity does not react to threats against its young in the way you presume. We shall see. Xylos projected with an icy finality. As the session dissolved, Elder Ilya drifted his consciousness to Eva. I am sorry, Ambassador. I attempted to caution them. What truly became of the ancients? Eva asked, her thought a private thread. They transformed, Ilya replied, into something the cosmos had never witnessed before, and prays never to witness again. Hope that humanity is different. But Eva was already thinking of the convoy, of the parents and children who were now pawns in a game played by entities who had disregarded history's gravest lesson. Far away, in the silent deeps of the Cygnus sector, Commander Ben Carter shared a meal with his family aboard the UES Endurance. His wife, Maria, described her botanical work. Their 10-year-old daughter, Lily, chatted excitedly about the new forest she would explore. They were unaware that a decision made light years away had just placed a target upon them. The Odyssey fleet was a string of light against the infinite dark. 28 vessels carried 60,000 souls toward a new beginning. Children watched stars streak by from observation decks. Commander Carter stood on the Endurance's command bridge, a veteran of Earth's exploratory corps. He found his duty of ferrying hope far more fulfilling than his previous military post. Commander, we have multiple contacts on long-range scan. Lieutenant Anya Sharma reported from her station, heading directly for us. Large profiles, war-class vessels. Ben moved to her display. Crimson icons converged from the outer system. Identification, working, confirmed, Cthar battle group. The bridge fell silent. The Cthar were a dominant power. Their ships were formidable. Open a fleet-wide channel. Order calm and hold positions. Then hail the Cthar. The main viewer lit up with the image of the lead Cthar warship, a jagged, weapon-studded Leviathan. Then, the face of War Chief Crosthall appeared, his multifaceted eyes gleaming. Human fleet, you will cut propulsion and prepare for boarding. This is Commander Carter of the UES Endurance. We are a civilian colonization convoy bound for Cygnus 298B. We have violated no statutes. Your existence is violation enough. Crosthall's translated voice was devoid of warmth. Your kind consumes too much, too quickly. The collective has decreed that humanity must accept boundaries. What boundaries? You will return to your home system. You will cease all colonial activities. You will acknowledge there are realms where humanity is not permitted. Ben felt a cold knot form in his stomach. These are families, War Chief. People seeking a future. We have ratified rights to travel in collective space. Rights are permissions granted by the powerful, Crosthall stated. We hold the power. You do not. Turn back. I cannot. These people have sacrificed everything. We will proceed. Crosthall's eyes glowed with malevolent light. Then you will be reminded of the price of defiance. The screen went dark. Alarms blared across the bridge. The Cthar vessels were activating weapon systems. All ships, emergency maneuvers. Ben ordered. But the colony vessels were sluggish, designed for endurance, not combat. The Cthar battle group enveloped them with ease. The assault began without further warning. Lances of plasma struck the UES New Dawn, a vessel carrying families. Ben watched horrified as the ship's hull was torn open. "They're targeting the residential zones," Anya said, her voice tight. "They're aiming for the sectors with the children." Ben grabbed the comm. "All ships, protect the civilians. Get the children to the escape pods." It was futile. The Cthar had studied their schematics. Their attacks were surgically precise, breaching holes at nurseries, schools, and living quarters. On the New Dawn, the world dissolved into screams and rushing air. Maria Carter, in the Arboretum, grabbed an emergency kit and ran toward the family habitation decks. Corridors were filled with smoke and debris. She called out for her daughter. "Lily, where are you?" She found her near the viewport gallery. The transparent aluminum was shattered. The room exposed a vacuum. Lily's small form drifted amidst leaves, and toys pulled into the void. Maria pressed against the inner seal, a silent scream trapped in her lungs. Her daughter's eyes were closed, her face serene in the absolute cold. They thought our love was a weakness. They were wrong. Across the fleet, the horror repeated. The Cthar did not seek total destruction. They executed a campaign of calculated terror. The surviving ships, battered and grieving, were permitted to retreat. War Chief Crosstow's final message was seared into their records. "Remember this consequence, humans. Remember what happens when you defy your superiors." The casualty report was a gut-wrenching tally. 2,108 lives lost. 741 of them were children. The news reached Earth, and a silent, seismic shift occurred in the human psyche. We were not angry. Anger is a fire. This was the absolute zero of the void. President Isabel Vance addressed the world, her features carved from granite. "The Galactic Collective has chosen to make our children instruments of policy. They believe this will break us. They are mistaken." Evacuations of all outer colonies began. Every resource was funneled into a single, terrifying purpose. General Marcus Thorne oversaw the most rapid militarization in history, but the most profound change was within the scientists. Dr. Eris Thorne, head of xenophysics, worked with a frightening focus. "What is that?" his assistant asked, gazing at a swirling energy model. "A lesson," Thorne replied, his eyes hollow. "A lesson on why you do not take a human's child." He pointed to a hollow image of his son, Leo, who had been on the New Dawn. At the galactic fringe, Cthar outposts began vanishing, not destroyed, emptied. The first was Sentinel Station. A supply ship found it perfectly intact, but utterly deserted. It happened again and again. No violence, just absence. Admiral Jacques Joe commanded the UES Vengeance, a vessel that defied conventional classification. Status: Cthar Patrol Vessel, Grid Epsilon 9. Crew complement: 50. Begin Operation Remembrance. The Vengeance did not attack. It enveloped the Cthar ship in a shimmering stasis field. All systems failed. The alien ship was drawn into the Vengeance's hold. Soldiers in obsidian armor boarded. They did not execute the crew. They forced them to witness the recorded horrors from the Odyssey fleet. They saw Lily Carter drift past the camera. "This is your legacy," the human commander said. "Carry it." The broken Cthar were released, their ship repaired. They became living vessels of a guilt that shattered minds. This was humanity's new warfare, the weaponization of memory. We did not start this fire, but we will use its heat to forge a new galaxy. Commander Ben Carter now captained the UES Endurance's successor, a warship of shadow and silent menace. His bridge was a memorial, with the names and faces of the 741 children displayed prominently. Central was Lily's image. Target located: Cthar Agricultural World, Verdant. Population 40,000. Broadcast evacuation order, Ben commanded, his voice flat. "They have one standard day." The planetary governor protested. "We are civilians." "So were the people on our ships," Ben replied. "The clock is ticking." When the deadline passed, the human ships unleashed nanite swarms. They did not harm the biosphere. They consumed every trace of Cthar industry, architecture, and technology, reducing their cities to bare earth. It was not conquest. It was erasure. On Nexus Prime, the collective watched paralyzed. Ambassador Eva Rostova, now in black, was a statue. When delegates confronted her, she offered only one phrase: "You killed our children." Elder Ilya observed reports. They had become the storm the Prohibition warned of. 6 months post-attack, Dr. Aristhorn perfected the Star Shaper, a device small enough to hold in one hand, capable of initiating a stellar collapse. He had built 15. Admiral Zhou targeted the Cthar home star. The US Vengeance phased into existence at the heart of their system. This is Admiral Zhou. Your leaders murdered our children. You cannot return them, but you will learn the meaning of loss. The Cthar Defense Armada was rendered irrelevant, their weapons useless against phase reality technology. The Star Shaper was deployed. The Cthar sun, their life-giver for eons, began to flicker and writhe. Scientists proclaimed the truth. The star was dying. They had 3 years to evacuate their billions. Panic consumed the civilization. The collective assembled a grand armada to make a final stand. Admiral Zhou met them with the Vengeance alone. "Stand down," demanded the Allied fleet commander. "You wish to see a crime?" Zhou replied. He displayed the footage of the dead children. "The Cthar did this. We are the consequence. This is genocide." The Cthar survived, scattered and broken. We showed more mercy than they showed our young. To emphasize the point, Zhou targeted a dead star system 50 light-years away and triggered a supernova. The flash illuminated the entire armada. "This is our power. We can unmake every star you hold dear. But we will not, for we are not you. Our wrath has limits. Your governance does not. The Galactic Collective is dissolved. You will answer to human authority from this moment." One by one, the alien ships stood down. On Earth, in a garden of black stone, President Vance read the names. Leo Thorne, Lily Carter, 741 times. Elder Ilya found her there. "You have remade the cosmos." "We were given no choice," she said. "They made us into guardians. Harsh, perhaps, but just." And the Cthar leaders in hiding? Let them live with their failure. Vengeance would not make us better than we need to be. Captain Ben Carter oversaw the memorial field at the attack site, a permanent fleet guarding the wreckage. His wife Maria served as a medic on a refugee station. He kept Lily's journal. The last entry: "I hope the aliens are nice." He looked at the stars. "I hope you can understand, Lily. I hope you can forgive what we had to become." The galaxy learned its lesson. In every archive, a new first law was inscribed: never threaten the young of a starfaring race, for their protectors might be human, and humans will guard their future with a fury that can darken suns. If you found this tale of cosmic consequence compelling, please support our channel with a like and follow Winds of Thought for more journeys into the unknown.